But people always ask us like, y'all going out of town again? Like, how do y'all afford that? Or I can't afford to go out of town and stuff. We're not rich by any means, like not even
regular
close to it.
American. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Katrinarenee.
I'm Charles.
And today we are going to do another sit down video based off of some of the questions that were asked in our previous videos.
Right.
And today's video is going to just kind of be tips on what we do. And it's titled How to Successfully Plan Your Next Vacation. And I'm not an expert, I'm not a travel agent. What I say is not golden or bond, it's just what we do to plan our trips. Typically what we do for ourselves, we go on a couple of different trips. What we try to make sure we do is we do a family trip every year. This year we did our first couples trip, but technically Charles and I do trips together, just him and I. Yeah.
So we always try to do at least one family trip and one trip with just
him and I. Yes, but we've added a new one in there somewhere. Yeah. So even though now we're gonna add a couples trip, Charles and I probably will still take a trip with just him and I because it's still necessary. At least I think so, and that works for us in our marriage. Everybody may not be able to travel, you know, as often, just like there are people that travel way more than us, like way more, like constantly on the go. We take typically. And I've been thinking like, man, how do y'all do that? I know. I just want to get to that level so I can do that. First of all, the vacation time. Where do you get all this vacation time? What the heck?
What kind of job you got where you got that much vacation time?
I know. So what we'll tell y'all is what works for us. So what we do is we first of all know how much the trips are. So in your mind, you have to say, okay, this is where we're going, and you have to take into account if you're gonna drive, if it's gonna be a road trip, is it more financially savvy to just drive to your location? Are you going to fly? How early should you purchase your airline tickets? How many do you need to purchase? What time are you gonna get there? Do you wanna get there earlier in the day? Which we typically like to get there earlier in the day because we don't wanna get there at night and then we have a hotel room that we didn't get to use for that day. Yeah. We're all about stretching our dollar, you know what I'm saying?
We usually plan our trips at least about a year in advance.
Yes.
Except for like the one we did, our cruise we did earlier this year.
That was last minute.
That was last minute, but that was different circumstances. Yeah. But generally, we like to try to plan our trips a year in advance. Yes,
and if we don't, which with the cruise, we had to take into account our budget. We budget everything. We don't spend a lot of money on material things. So you won't see me walking around with like Louis bags and Dolce and Gabbana or whatever. Like we just don't live like that. We live a normal, average American life.
I feel like if that's what you want to do, that's fine.
Nothing wrong with that. We choose to spend our money on traveling.
Yes.
And to be honest with you, if the trip costs a certain amount of money, like if it costs more than like total like $5,000, we know that trip is going to be a couple years out because we don't have $10,000 or $15,000 to drop on a trip in a year. Like that doesn't fit within our budget. So if we have a trip that's like Greece, say if we go to Greece,
Greece will probably be like $10,000, $15,000.
Yeah, so if it's a trip like that, we typically will push out a couple years.
Yeah.
So if it's that much, we'll push it out a couple years, and we will either save the money or we will have a plan with the people where we're going. So when we just went to the Dominican, we paid directly through the resort for our trip. So we sent the money to them directly, and we knew, we sat down and budgeted, okay, every week this is how much money we have set aside to pay for the room and pay everything off. And we actually paid this trip off in 2 months. It took us 2 months to pay the trip off, but technically we would have paid it off in a year. If you're traveling with kids, just be very cost effective. You don't have to fly everywhere, and you don't have to drive everywhere either. Just figure out, if you're gonna drive, how long can your kids sit in that car before they're getting on your nerves? How many times are you going to stop to fill up? And then how many, like we can't stop every 30 minutes. That doesn't work for us. We need to only stop when we need to fill up. With the kiddos, because we have a 12-year-old and we have a 2-year-old, that age gap is really, really big. So we've decided as a family, our family trips will be within the United States. And they'll probably more than likely either be road trips. And if we do have to fly, then we just look for the best bang for our buck.
The family trip for us, like she just mentioned, will be most of the time in the United States. We try to, you know, just keep it simple because we're paying for more people now, especially since the little one's OC costs now. So, you know, we got about 4 tickets instead of 2 or 3. So we had to keep price of things in mind. So whenever we can, whenever possible, we like to try to drive because obviously that's going to be a lot cheaper than it is to fly.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, we will fly somewhere if we can get a good deal on tickets, but yeah, most of the time we'll probably drive somewhere.
Yeah, most of the time we'll probably drive. And then some people aren't as fortunate as us, where Charles's father actually works for an airline, and so when we have to take the girls on a flight like that, like last year we went to California, the year before that we went to Vegas with them, and we flew on buddy passes. If you can fly on a buddy pass, that is amazing, that's great, but you have to take into account that it's always, although it's cheaper, it may not be the best option for you, because you have to get to the airport super duper early and you're flying standby, and there may be a chance that you will be at the airport all day long. And I don't know about y'all, but I don't want to be at the airport all day long with the little. And
that actually did happen to us. Where did we go when we got stuck?
We went to California.
On the way back from California.
On the way back, we got stuck in Oklahoma
City.
For overnight.
Yeah, we were over there overnight. That's the thing you have to keep in mind when you're flying on a standby on a buddy pass or something like that. Like when you're flying standby on a buddy pass, you're basically the lowest class of flyer to be able to get on the plane, and so you'll be the last to get on the plane. I don't recommend doing it unless it's like an emergency situation. You know what I'm saying? Like if it's like an emergent and you're like, I just don't have the money at all to pay for this ticket, it's too expensive, shoot your shot. You know what I'm saying? Like go for it. If not, buy your plane tickets. It's the stress is just not there. We got bit by the buddy pass. I've flown on the buddy passes a lot, so I know the ins and outs of that kind of stuff, and for the most part it worked for me very well until we got stuck in the airport with a 2-year-old with no diapers spent the night in the airport overnight. But it's there if you need it, if you know someone who works for an airline who will give you a buddy pass. They're not free, you still have to pay the taxes on them. They're just a lot cheaper than paying for full price fare. But you get what you pay for. Buddy pass, you might be in the airport all day. Full flight fare, you know you got a seat and you're gonna be in and out, no worries. And the best way that I can tell you how to make sure that you plan a successful trip is give yourself time. Do not try and plan a trip 2 months out, because financially, the way our budget works, I gotta budget everything down to the last dollar. So I need to know that we're gonna have XYZ amount of money while we're there to spend, so we don't have to worry about anything. And I also need to know I'm not like going crazy trying to do like overtime or like pull money from all different angles to pay for this trip quickly. I need a year to pay for my trips. For the international trips, I need a full year. And even if you think about flying to Florida or California, like if it's Disney World or something like that, you still need good time, because Disney is expensive. When you're taking a family, you have to plan in advance, just because there's other people that are involved, and you can't just, you just can't get up and go somewhere. You have to plan in advance. You have to. That's why we like to do at least a year in advance, because it just helps us to get everything together. We're not stressed at the last minute trying to get money together for something. We've got everything taken care of. It just works out a lot better that way. Yeah, it does. That's how you successfully plan a vacation. Give yourself time. We give ourselves a year and we pay on those trips. So we don't just up and say we're gonna go to Jamaica, or we're gonna go to the Dominican, or we're gonna go to wherever, Paris or Greece or whatever. We plan it in advance. It's already there. Set the date. If you don't set the date, you're gonna keep putting it off. And if you wait on everybody else to go with you, you're not gonna go, because everybody's going to drop out. No matter what, set the date, stick to the date, and get it paid off before that date. Always plan your trips with only you going in mind. Do not ever plan with other people, because you can plan, but always know you're gonna go regardless. Know that you're gonna go, because people will. Some things happen. Life happens. People cancel. We've had to not go on trips before. Yeah, we've canceled on other people before. So so prime example, we're planning a trip to Greece in 2 years. I think it's gonna be a couples trip. Now, hear me out. Everybody may not end up going to Greece in 2 years. Everybody in that trip may not want to go, but our mind is made up that we're going to Greece. So we're going to Greece. Whether there's couples there or not. Yes, we're going regardless, and so we want them to come with us, because the group is just amazing. It's enjoyable. I mean, it's a fun time. The group is amazing. But the two of us here, we'll have a good time regardless if there's somebody else. Regardless. So you have to keep that in mind too. Like I said in the beginning, just go. Just know that if it's a group travel, make sure that you're comfortable going to that place by yourself, because you may end up going by yourself or with one other couple or one other group. And keep in mind, like if you are driving, you know, look at some things to do on the way to where your destination is, because you may be able to stop and make one of your stops. You know, maybe you're gonna go look at something, maybe
a monument or something, or museum, yeah,
that you can, you know, spend an hour or two there. Well, that's one of your stops right there. Just make sure you get some gas before you get back on the road, and there you go.
And you're good, yeah. Or if you are flying, like what we like to do is we like to fly in, if we're going on a cruise and we fly, whether we fly or drive, we like to get there a day before. We've gotten there, this time around we got there the day of, but that's because we drove to Galveston. It was like a 3-hour drive. Yeah, it was a drive. We gave ourselves time, but if it's Florida, we're gonna fly in the day before. Because we don't want to take any chances, and it's just better to just have that breather. But when you get off the plane versus rushing straight through the port and the terminal, give yourself a day.
I'm only speaking to our specific situation, but people always ask us, like, y'all going out of town again? Like, how do y'all afford that? Or I can't afford to go out of town and stuff. We're not rich by any means, like not even
regular
close to it.
American.
Basically, it's about planning. If you plan your trips, you can go anywhere you want to.
You can go anywhere.
It's just about planning and budgeting and stuff. And that's the thing that a lot of people don't realize. Like, they think you have to pay for the full trip all at one time.
And you don't.
And you don't have to. I mean, especially if you're staying at a resort or you're going on a cruise or something like that, they have payment options that you can do a lot of the times. Not everywhere is a resort though, because when we go to Greece, we're not gonna be in a resort.
That's true. So that's another thing. Depending on where you go, you may not have the luxury to do that. Planning a trip to Paris in 3 years.
That one's gonna be with Zaria.
Zaria.
She's talked about going to Paris
since she was 5 or 6. Those trips are further out, and they're further out because it's gonna cost more money. And so in order for us to do that, I need more than a year.
But see, we're already mentally preparing for those trips, and they're 5 or so years out. We're still already preparing for those trips, and we know that, okay, in this coming year we got to pay for this, we got to pay for that. So that's what you have to do. I mean, these trips, they're not going to be cheap at all. And if you try to pay for everything at the last minute, yes, you're going to be stressed because it's so expensive. Yeah. But we're planning a couple years in advance, so it's no big deal.
If you guys want, though, we can. And I don't know if this is the type of video that y'all want, because it has nothing to do with travel, but it kind of does. If you guys want, I will do a video on how I budget down to a T. I can tell you by the end of the year how much money we're going to have saved up, or what we should be looking for. And then if we have to tweak the budget along the way, then we can do that. You know, it's a workable budget, but it's a realistic budget, and it's like, to me, it's the best case scenario budget. But then you also have to be willing to tweak it for the worst case scenario. So I can do that.
I think we update our budget every pay period.
Yeah, right? The budget is made out through the rest of the year, but we update it every pay period just based off of things that come our way, which is how we're able to pay for our trips and, you know, do those things. But if y'all want a video on that, then I can definitely do that video. Just let me know down below. If you don't, that's fine. I completely understand. I get it. A lot of people may already know how to do that in budget, but we do get a lot of questions about how do y'all travel so much, which I don't think we do compared to a lot of travel vloggers out there. And we don't travel for free. We got to pay for all of our trips.
You know, not paying. We definitely aren't comped anything.
Yeah, so we feel y'all's pain. Okay, we all paying for our trips on our own. So, you know, they ain't comping us. So we just feel like if we can help y'all in any way, then go ahead. And do not wait. Stop saying when the kids are older, when the kids are out of the house, or when I got X amount of money saved up. Life ain't ever gonna be perfect.
All right, Matt was our cruise director on the Vista cruise that we went on a couple years ago, and he made a very good point. He said that he sees a lot of people that are older when they get into their, you know, 70s and 60s. Because they waited. Because they waited. They was like, well, we'll wait till the kids get older. They wait till they're 50, 60, 70 years old, and they finally take their first cruise or whatever it is, and they get to a lot of these ports and they can't really do anything because they can't walk. They've gotten old, they're tired real quick, and they can't do anything. He says, you know, don't wait until you get old before you try to experience this stuff. Like, do what you can to experience it now while you still are able-bodied and can get around fairly easily. And then that way you can actually enjoy it and actually see everything. Because
there's never going to be a right time.
Never a right time.
So, I'm going to wait until I make $190,000 this year, or I'm going to wait until I got $30,000 saved up, or I'm going to wait till my kids are grown, or I'm going to wait to have a baby, or you do that, you're going to be waiting all your life. Go now. I mean, go now while you still can enjoy it. And
just plan and be smart about it. Like, if you plan and be smart and do baby steps, like you don't have to go for the biggest trip right away.
Start off small.
Just start off small.
Do what you can do, and just remember, there's so much in this world to see. And if you keep waiting until you're older, or until like life is in order, you're gonna be waiting for a long time, and then you're gonna look up and be like, what happened to the time? Enjoy life now. That's what we do. we enjoy it now, but we do sacrifice in some ways. We still travel even on Charles was on income when I wasn't working, but we still sacrifice in different areas. So we may not be able to go get the newest outfit. We may wear the same clothes. We be cute though. But we just, you know, we spend our money in other places.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have a whole lot of extra material things, and you know, that's okay.
Did you have anything else you wanted to add to this one?
Other than you look good, girl.
Like you
better stop looking like you do.
Boy, bye. Give me a kiss. Anyway, y'all, hope y'all enjoyed this particular video on how to successfully plan your next vacation. Sorry if this video is all over the place. Hope y'all enjoyed today's video. If you haven't already subscribed to our channel, do so now. Hit that subscribe button. There's more videos to come. Any questions, comments, whatever you want to ask us, put it in the comment box below. You never know, we may make a video based off of your comment. In the meantime, in between time, till the next time. Bye.
Peace.
Bye.